It's a beautiful Sabbath morning, and I just thought I'd share with anybody who will listen why I probably will be a Seventh-day Adventist till the day Jesus comes, till the day I die, fall asleep, and he wakes me up. Why I'll never leave the truth, the beautiful historical Adventist truth that the critics just can't stand. They can't stand that God used a woman. They have to slander her and misuse her words and turn it into something it isn't. And I laugh, and I'll laugh all the way to the God's white throne. I love being a Seventh-day Adventist. Here's why. Because of the journey they experienced in the early years, upholding a consistent hermeneutic for a day for a year, understanding, recognizing the prophecies of Daniel are focused on the ministry of Jesus, and that was God's plan to call back all people of the earth. Nobody particular by birthright or something is in view. Doesn't ignore Paul. Doesn't turn Paul into a commandment rejecting, inconsistent teacher. It uses the Seventh Adventist Church. They use the whole Bible. They look at the whole picture. They don't pit different authors against each other. They remember all 10 of the commandments. I'm so thankful and proud that I was born into a Seventh-day Adventist family, and I received that teaching. So blessed. But the Adventists acknowledged their mistake under the Millerite movement, the Baptist Millerite movement. But they held fast to the principle, admitting that the prediction was wrong. And you can read that in Revelation 10 when you understand. God did not leave us bankrupt of information regarding the whole Christian period, and that the book of Daniel and Revelation continues as it starts from Daniel 2 through till Jesus comes, makes his final enemies, his footstool, and restores all things. No more sin. No more pretending that everything's already finished in a completed sense, even though nobody actually does that. Yes, it is finished. Jesus paid it all. But everybody recognizes that this place isn't quite yet set right. And that's a process. And God is looking for an allegiance, a bride worthy that he is fixing. So when Christ comes, they'll be without spot or wrinkle. I love the fact that the Adventist movement received correction along their journey in the early years. They received truth as they got it. No one claims that they were perfect, but they started over like a good honest person would, and went back to the Bible and restored many important doctrines, like the Sabbath, which was received from a Baptist girl named Rachel Oakes, who brought it to their attention. They didn't accept it at first, but they received correction, and they took on that truth. They recognized Daniel 8, and that the 2300 days would not end until after the 1260 ended in 1798, which is a historic Protestant truth. That the true temple that was to be restored is the one in heaven, the one that the Antichrist was from pagan to papal Rome had been trampling on through history, as all the Protestants recognized, for the most part. And that all those prophecies are focused on Christ, whose best proof is in Daniel 9:24 through 27, and upholds that important truth, that beautiful verse, Daniel 9:27, that puts Jesus' ministry and death all together as in focus, as it should be, his ministry and his death and resurrection as well. And recognizing that he would put an end to sacrifices and sins, that he would bring that new covenant that God had been promising to the Jew first and then to the Greek. I am proud to be a Seventh-day Adventist because they realized and took on the very important truth that God is not a torturer of souls, that man is not immortal intrinsically, that that's a gift bestowed upon those who are faithful by Christ and his sacrifice. The recognition that obvious truth that death is real, and our hope is in the resurrection from the dead. I'll be an Adventist till the day I die because it's a restoration of the truth. And it focuses on Jesus. Let me leave you with this last thought. Here's the thing, here's a really interesting argument that I'm trying to develop. We all know that Jesus is a creator. All things were made for him, by him, and through him. He was there in the beginning. He's the light, John 1. Before Abraham was, I am. That's a pretty good argument. But here's a better one that's horribly misread and trampled on because of denying the Sabbath. If you've broken one, you've broken them all, folks. All what? All of God's law that reflects his character that he's trying to put back in us. Here's the knockdown, should be best argument for the divinity of Christ that is turned on its head by many Christians and not acknowledged for what it is. And then actually used for Jesus to be actually discarding the Sabbath commandment that he said, remember the Sabbath, that all people will keep in the eternal state, Isaiah 66. If you're a literalist, why would Jesus change it temporarily only to bring it back in the new heavens and the new earth? He hasn't, it's never changed, because Jesus has always been the creator. When he says the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath, you know what he's talking about? He's talking about when he made the Sabbath on the first seventh day. He made it for man, his crowning creation on day 6. And he sanctified the day on day 7 for man's benefit and for a relationship, for a special day that recognizes God, the creator of all things, the creator of the week. He says it's made for man, not man for the Sabbath. He wasn't saying, therefore, trample all over the Sabbath and don't worry about it. I'm doing away with it. Are you kidding me? He's saying, I made this for you. Therefore, the Son of Man is also Lord of the Sabbath. He refers back to creation when it was made. Sabbath was made for man. That happened at creation. Jesus is the creator. When he says it, he points to it being made for man way back when it was made. Because that's what he's saying. It was made for man. Creation. Therefore, the Son of Man is also Lord of the Sabbath. This verse is the best, most clear evidence that Jesus Christ created the Sabbath. And he is the creator of all things. And you've neglected it. You've not even noticed it. Before Abraham I was, and you fight with various groups that are considered heretical for whatever various reasons, oneness. Many of them are actually quite devout Christians dedicated to God and to the language of one God. But I'll tell you this. Jesus saying he's Lord of the Sabbath after referring to its creation in Eden is the clearest, most uplifting evidence and proof that Jesus Christ is the divine, eternal Son of God. And you've neglected it. I will never, ever turn my back on the truth that I received from the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So don't even, and if you oppose that, I'm going to be right there every step of the way until kingdom come. Never forget it. Justification by faith is the gospel, and I will not ever let you defame my church, because it's Christ's church. You don't have to be a part of my church to be saved, but if you want to serve Jesus, it's a great place to start. God bless. God be with you.